If I had to start my notary business all over again in 2026 with 0 clients, 0 connections, and 0 plan, I would not do what most people are teaching online. In this video, I'm walking you through the exact step-by-step blueprint I would follow to go from 0 to paid clients. And make sure you stay until the end because I'm going to show you how I would get my first 5 clients in the first 30 days. Let's go. Hey, I'm Amber, educator and founder at Notary Training Hub, and I've helped thousands of aspiring notaries start and grow profitable businesses. But here's the truth. Most people don't fail because they can't become a notary. They fail because they don't know how to turn it into a business. So let's fix that. Before we jump into the steps, let's clear this up. Most people think, hey, I'll become a notary and clients will come. Signing services will just make me money. And another thing I hear is, I just need my commission. No, absolutely not. That's not how this works. A notary commission is not a business. It's just your license to operate. So if you want to actually make money, you need 3 things: services, strategy, and visibility. Now let's build that. So let's go over getting commissioned and setting up your foundation. Step 1 is going to be getting your notary commission. All right, you're going to do this by visiting your Secretary of State office website and signing up. You're going to follow the steps that they outline there for you to do, such as do the application. If there is a training that you have to do, take the training. If there is an exam you have to do, you have to take the exam. And then any other requirements such as bond or insurance or journal, you're going to follow exactly what they tell you to do. Every Secretary of State has exactly the steps that you need to take. If you want to go the faster route, the more convenient route, you can log into the National Notary Association website and let them streamline that process for you. So, however, step 1 is always going to be get commissioned. Immediately after that, you're going to want to register your business name. All right, so that means you're going to either get an LLC or file as the sole proprietor. An LLC is optional, but recommended for protection, obviously. And then also, if you plan to do this for the long haul, the long run, you do want to have a legitimate business. So creating an LLC would be the option for that. So to create an LLC or register as a sole proprietorship, you're again going to need to go through your Secretary of State and apply and pay the fee. I like to use a third-party service called Busy, where they do the legwork for me. I just pay the filing fee and they do the rest. If you need that link, it will be in the description box as well. After I've set up my foundation and structured it how I want, either LLC or sole proprietor, it's time to get a business bank account. I typically recommend going with who you're already banking with for your personal account. So for me, I already had a Chase, so I opened up a Chase business account. I already was banking with Navy Federal, so I opened up a Navy Federal account. There are other options for you if you want to use just an online banking, such as Bluevine, which I partner with as well. If you'd like all of those links, I'll put that down in the description as well. The main point is to separate your business and your personal finances so that you can be a true legitimate business. And if there is ever any issues down the line, you are not commingling personal funds and business funds, and you are keeping it totally separate, protecting yourself and your company. Immediately after that, I'm going to go to the irs.gov, to get an EIN number, or what we call an employment identification number. You'll want to think of this as the Social Security number, but for your business. So when you file taxes, as you know, for your personal taxes, you have to provide your Social Security number as an identifying factor so that they know who you are, what you're filing. Same for your business. They need to identify your business. So an EIN number does that for you. It's also beneficial for when you become a notary or a signing agent, when you're filling out signing service profiles, W-2s, and they're asking for your tax filing number. Instead of putting a Social Security number, you'll want to put an EIN number. And that again protects you because there's already enough data breaches out here. We don't need someone else able to see what your social security number is. So go ahead and get a free EIN number from the irs.gov website and attach it to your business. Next, you'll want to create a professional email. I recommend going through someplace like Google Workspace where you can create the email and have all of the other features that they offer. A professional email is where you have purchased the domain for your business and you're attaching it to your email. So an email that is not a professional email would be amberthenotary@gmail.com. A professional email would be support@thenotarybusiness.com. All right. So it's just your business name is in the email. And so again, that's what's considered a professional email. Is it required? Absolutely not. It's something to think about as you grow your business and for the legitimacy of your business. When you are contracting with companies and going for government contracts, you're going to need a professional email. So again, the things I'm recommending are for building a business, all right? I am not talking about if you're wanting to have this as a side hustle or a hobby, if you're wanting to truly build this as a business. Next, let's talk about choosing services that actually make money. This is where most people mess up. They become a notary and then they wait. No, we're choosing services strategically over here. Here are the top service that I would start with. Number one, we've got general notary work. That's quick cash, local clients. I love general notary work. Next, we've got loan signings. This is higher ticket. It will require you to get a few more credentials. Next, we've got apostille services. This is my bread and butter, my favorite. It is a huge opportunity, also low competition. And then there's I-9 verifications for those employers that are bringing on those new employees with this requirement that they have to do before they start work. And last but not least is estate planning documents and estate planning notarizations for things like wills, trust, medical directives. The goal is not to rely only on one stream. It's to stack your income. This is exactly what I teach students in our classes, multiple streams under one business. Next, you're going to want to set your prices like a CEO. So we're going to talk about something people are scared to do. And of course, that's the pricing breakdown. Before we start this, I want you to understand that I really, really need you to make sure that you have your notary handbook and your state law so you'll know exactly what you're allowed to charge for your notarization fee and for travel, if you're allowed to charge for travel. I'll preface this by also saying you do need to go ahead and do some market analysis, competitor analysis, so you are comparable to the people in your city or zone. Today is a generic pricing breakdown. So let's get to it. There is the state fee. That should be the baseline for your charges. How much is your state allowing you to charge per notarization? That's your baseline. Then you can tack on the travel fee if allowed. This is where mobile notaries make money. This is a convenience-based business, all right? Just like Uber Eats, just like Instacart, just like those companies that people pay to wash their laundry and fold it, right? We can all do these services ourselves. We can go pick up our own food and grocery shop. However, people will pay for convenience. And so mobile notary is a convenience. So you're tacking on that convenience part to the notarization. And that's where mobile notaries really earn the higher income. So you're going to determine what your travel fee is for your notary business, whether you have to go by what the state says you can charge for travel, or if you are making up your own travel/convenience fee according to your state laws. Speaking of convenience fee, you'll want to determine what is your convenience fee for your business. All right, convenience fee equals premium service. Again, I can't say it enough. This is a convenience-based business. Anybody can come up and charge $5, $10 for their notary, but the client has to travel and find a notary that's available, and then find a notary that does it correctly, and then find a notary that will know what to do to that document. That is hard. There are a lot of people that will just pay the extra money to have you come to them and do it right the first time. So if you're only charging the state fee, you're definitely not running a business. You're volunteering. So let's go over a quick example. I would say notarization is $10. My travel fee would be $40 to $75. And then after hours would be my convenience fee. Someone calls me and they need me to come at 9 p.m. That's premium pricing. So I'm going to tack on an additional cost. As you can see, right, my fee has just gone from the basic $10 to over $100, again, for that same 10 minutes of my time. However, I did use my gas and I did travel outside of my normal office hours. So that is what you want to think about when you are creating your pricing for your business. You don't want to just go off of just the state fee. You do need to go off of what the state allows you to charge, and then think like a business owner. All right, stacking your services and stacking the convenience of your business. All right, let's go over marketing. If I had 0 clients, this is exactly what I would do. Week 1, I would set up a Google business profile ASAP. I would add services, photos, keywords, and have a posting schedule. Then in week 2, I would go ahead and start posting locally. That's on Facebook groups, Nextdoor, Google Post. These are all going to help with your local search, all right? Then I would tell everyone what I do. Everyone, everywhere I go, someone would know that I am a notary or apostille service provider, or whatever the service is that I provide. Everyone would know about it. By week 3, I'd be in person marketing. I'd be visiting nursing homes, retirement centers, Chamber of Commerce events, law offices, real estate offices, co-working spaces, and shipping centers like UPS and FedEx. These are a gold mine. They send me work weekly. Then in week 4 of this 30-day plan, I would dedicate to follow up. This is where many notaries drop the ball. They don't follow up. So in week 4, I would be dedicating that time to following up and asking for referrals. Marketing is not optional for this business. Visibility equals income. Your digital footprint matters. You've got to be visible, and you've got to show that you are a trustworthy business for them to book your service. All right, let's talk about how I would get my first 5 clients. So let's make this practical. If I needed clients this week, here's what I would do. Again, I would post in 3 local Facebook groups today. Then I would message 5 local businesses. I would optimize my Google business profile. I would let everyone know I offer same-day service, and I would ask every client for a referral. If you don't need me, do you know someone else that would need me? Do you know anyone else that I would love your referral? All right, you've got to ask. What is the saying? Closed mouths don't get fed, right? Your first clients are closer than you think. You just have to get to them. Open your mouth and speak about your business. Always remember, visibility creates the income. Being consistent builds a real business. If this helped you, you're going to want to watch the next video where I break down the biggest mistakes new notaries make that keep them stuck and broke. And if you're serious about building your notary business the right way, I'll link my training below where I walk you through this step by step. I'll see y'all at the next one. Happy stamping.